is not a good morning as we deal with the fallout of the Cowboys' another embarrassing home loss, this time against the Detroit Lions, 47-9. It's Overreaction Monday, and we're doing big picture stuff. We'll break down some players later on in this live show on Monday. But for the morning video, let's begin with the obvious one. Fire Mike McCarthy. This is not an overreaction. If your mindset is head coach has to go, yeah, I get it. I think you're right. I wanted to fire him last January. Now, as we'll get into at the end of today's video, I will say I think he's been set up for failure. That is an ownership issue. We will talk about them. Don't worry. But the Dallas Cowboys chose to keep Mike McCarthy as a lame duck heading into the final year of his contract, and they didn't make any roster moves, really. They said, we're just going to run it back with the same team, but actually worse. Who here in the comments feels good, has hope, that this is going to work out in the end for Dallas, that they're going to right the ship and not just make the playoffs, backdoor their way in as a 7 seed, but actually make a run and be the team that we want them to be when it matters the most in January? I don't think this team is good enough. I don't think the roster as constructed is a true contender against a team like the Lions, who are going to have to beat in January to make a real run. And this staff has proven time and time again they are not good enough either. They do not maximize their personnel. They do not maximize their players. They do not get the most out of this team. The most probably still isn't going to be enough, but you sure as shit ain't getting the most out of your organization right now with this coaching staff. Now, if you want some Mike McCarthy replacements on today's live show, which I think many of us do, then share today's video. Make sure it is the fact this is what you guys want. Help us out. Share today's video if you want the McCarthy replacements video on live show later this Monday afternoon. More on McCarthy. This whole thing stinks of a dead man walking, right? You smell it in the air. This ain't going to work. He was set up for failure, and he has embraced the failure with big, wide open arms and hugging it. It is a matter of when, not if he's gone. I don't have any faith in this team figuring things out, righting the ship, and getting back on track. And getting to 11 wins seems impossible right now. It's not that they're 3-3. I thought they would be 3-3 entering this point of the season. I thought that was the right over/under. The way they have gotten there does not inspire confidence. Great week 1 win, ugly week 2 loss, ugly week 3 loss, narrow week 4 win, narrow week 5 win, blowout loss in week 6. Can't keep happening. I have no faith that it's going to get changed around. We are rapidly approaching the point where maybe Jerry Jones actually would do something midseason. That if they get blown out after the bye against San Francisco, maybe they would actually make a change there. Do you think that is possible? Will the Cowboys fire Mike McCarthy midseason? Y for yes, N for no. Go vote at the pinned comment of today's show if the ad comes here on YouTube. Overreaction number 2. Well, how about you just try a new play caller? Pull Mike, no more play calls for Big Mike. Let Brian Schottenheimer call the offense. I get it, but it is an overreaction as well. Or I guess is the first overreaction, I should say, of the day. The logic is sound. Mike's not doing a good enough job calling the plays in general. I feel like the early week stuff, your players keep complaining about practice stuff. Maybe if your OC wasn't your head coach too, that could get figured out. The logic is perfect. And I don't think Mike McCarthy has done nearly a good enough job as the play caller. But this is not me defending him. When I say overreaction, it's not me defending him. I don't think there's any chance he would give up play calling, though. And from Mike's perspective, I actually get it too. This is his ship. He's going down with it. And this is also the play calling issue you have, where he wants to run what he's comfortable with, and it's not as nearly as effective because he's a dinosaur too much. It's not an accident that the Rodgers and McCarthy offenses look pretty similar these days, right? It's not a good thing. McCarthy knows he's going to get fired if he doesn't make a real playoff run. And as I get, if he's going to go down, he's going down the way he wants to go out. I understand that, even if the results are just not good enough on the field. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. It is the place for last-minute tickets to maybe not a Cowboys game, right now. But concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between, Game Time has you covered. They have a feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to your favorite team's play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It is curation designed to save you even more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and everything else in between. The all-in pricing feature shows your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And the Game Time guarantee is this: if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app today, create your account, and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today because what time is it? Game time. Let's go to overreaction number 3. Let's fire Mike Zimmer while we're at it. I get this one too, but I do think it falls in the overreaction category. I am a little bit more willing to be kinder to Zimmer than I am right now to Mike McCarthy. I'm more inclined to blame the offense. The offense can't put up 9 points when the defense is banged up like this. It just can't happen. Now, that's not to excuse the defense. Look, Zimmer's battling a lot of injuries. Mike Zimmer can't make my defense tackle. That's an execution thing, I think. I do think Zimmer needs to be better. This is not a free pass of, Zimmer gets no blame there. I think the offensive performance was worse, in air quotes, because, it's like being the shortest 7-footer. You're still a 7-footer. It's still already bad in general. I'm using the nice version of that idiom that I probably shouldn't say on air. This, by the way, is not a make Zimmer your head coach. No, he's not a solution either. Don't like that. But I'm more inclined to blame the offense for the defense in that one. Not that neither side played remotely good enough to win. Because, again, when everything's bad, it's a coaching issue, right? So of the two sides of the ball, what is the bigger issue for the Cowboys right now? O for it is the offense. D for it is the defense. Go vote in the comments right now. Overreaction number 4. The players are not focused again. And this is not an overreaction. And this actually really, really bothers me and continues to upset me just as much as the overall results on the field do. Every time the Cowboys have lost the game this season, we have seen something along this line from Dak Prescott or Jordan Lewis or Tank Lawrence or Micah Parsons. All your leaders have said something very similar, like, hey, how can we get better, help this team? Starts with practice. How? How does this keep happening? I am sick and tired, and this actually goes back several years because after every big loss, McCarthy would say the exact same thing. Yeah, we never go a good week of practice. We're not focused. We're not paying attention to the details. It's always been an issue. This has to stop. Your players, every loss this season, have said, yeah, we're not. Some guys are not going to, they're just not focused enough. Does my coaching staff give a shit? Because if you're not focused in practice, that is on your coaching staff to fix it. Or is this just what you get with lame ducks? Or are we so far down the road that the players are just going to put in their 9 to 5? Start benching people. Because I think what happened, you had Jordan Lewis come out and say, yeah, we're not doing our jobs. We're playing hero ball. We're not. Tank Lawrence said it too. We're not paying attention to details. Sure looked to me like Donovan Wilson was playing hero ball. Next week, Donovan Wilson is a captain. Start benching people. I don't care who it is. I don't care what number it is, what position he plays. I am tired of this. Your players have said every week, yeah, we're not focused enough. That's your job as a coach. That is your number one job as a coach in the week of practice. Make sure your players are locked in. It happens every other week. After every win, they get a little high on their own supply again. It can't keep happening, man. Start cussing, start yelling, start benching players. Because what you're doing right now ain't working. And if it's the exact same message you've been giving for 5 years in a row, you got to change your messaging. Because that's on you as a coaching staff. I am sick and tired of the Country Club Cowboys. It is the same vibes I see week in and week out. And it all starts at the top, by the way, which we will get to here in just a second. Now, we are getting closer to 200,000 subscribers. Subscribe to us, not the Cowboys YouTube channel. Free Cowboys videos, positive when needed to be, and negative like today when it needs to be. Hit that sub button right now. Overreaction number 5 is maybe the most important. And I don't think this is an overreaction at all. Everything you have seen so far this year is a direct result of the Jones boys, specifically Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, your ownership group. Anyone that you're mad at right now coming out of week 6 specifically, it's valid. Quarterback gets blamed. Receiving core gets blamed. Trayvon Diggs' business decisions get blamed. The O-line couldn't pass, protect the coaching staffs. You name it. Everyone holds accountability involved there. Nobody showed up. Again. But in the end, the Cowboys' results on the field are directly the fault and the blame of ownership. This is what you get. When you don't spend money in free agency, I'm not arguing people anymore. They don't spend money like other teams. They just don't. Stop saying they do. Stop falling for the lies from your front office. The ownership and their decisions, this is the results you get. We all watched the playoff disaster last year when Green Bay came into your building and beat the tar out of you. What did ownership do? Ownership said, we're actually okay with this. Who got fired as a result? They let Dan Quinn leave. Who lost their jobs? Nobody. They simply said, all right, let's try again, except this time we're going to make the team worse actively and expect you guys to do even more with less, which just doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. The Dallas Cowboys have a culture rot right now, and it stems from the very top of the ownership. It stems from Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. There is no accountability in this organization. They never get up there and say, yeah, you know what, that's our fault. You know, we're going to pass more power over to Will McClay. No, they don't do it. And they continuously care more about the ticket sales. They let the AT&T Stadium account tweet out the people in attendance, but blurred out the scoreboard. They just don't care. This is all ownership's fault, and I will not pretend like it's anything else. So with that in mind, F the Jones boys in the comments. Type FJB.